Great. Just great. Just great to be with you. Great to see you today. Great to have you in the space. You know what would be so wonderful if all of this could just happen in one place? Do you know what I mean? Because the reality is that your old pal Rev Deuce is hitting all the buttons. I got a laptop over here. I got a phone right in front of me. I got all these things to keep track of what the hell's going on here. And so every morning I start the show, and instead of just launching into a beautiful commentary, what happens is, good morning, Madison. What happens is I hit refresh on my laptop that's over here under, it's like behind a screen. I got these two screens right here, and I'm just hitting refresh until I load the chat of the Substack so I know what anybody's saying. And so it takes that long. And so I now have the Substack loaded. And it's interesting is now I see that bathrobe guys say, good morning, everyone, sending peace and meta to all. And we learned what meta was the other day, and it was peace. And so today we're going to talk about how Karoline Leavitt is a liar. We're going to look at a bunch of other things. But first we're going to start the program, as we always do now, with a little bit of Trivial Pursuit. So Madison, it's you versus Bathrobe Guy. And Bathrobe Guy is on a delay because everyone refuses to join Twitch. And that's okay. People are creatures of habit. So, geography, what island has a park called the Battery at its southern tip? Easy. Easy peasy, beautiful cover girl. What island has a park called the Battery at its southern tip? Stacy S., do you know? I'll wait for your guesses. What island has a park called the Battery at its southern tip? It's extremely easy if you've ever been to where I live. And that's a hint for people who may live near where I live or know where I live. Do you know where I live? Please don't. Okay, what's this? Trump taps Palantir to create master database on every American. Now, later today on TikTok, we have a special request from one of our TikTok people who wants me to talk about that. It is not Staten Island. It is not New York City. Be more specific, and Catanzarite. And welcome into the space. I don't ever know who's here on Substack, but if you are on Substack, just a reminder that you can watch the program with less of a delay, and you can go to twitch.tv/Public Enlightenment so that you can follow me, so that you can help boost me. Isn't that fun? We love a little boost. A little boost in the morning, boost in the evening, boost at supper time. When boosts are on a boosty, you can have boosts anytime. Okay, great. We're having fun. Now, I got to pull up this thing about Karoline Leavitt being a liar because, well, I was looking for something. This is so funny because I'm all over the place all the time at all times. And I was going to The Guardian. I saw a Spanish language version of a Rebecca Solnit piece that I believe said that it is shown now that there's been at least 300,000 deaths from the cuts to USAID. You know how Marco Rubio is lying that nobody has died yet, and then meanwhile Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times has found children who have died because of the cuts to USAID. And so I'm taking a note for myself. Well, I was going to look on The Guardian for that in English language, and then what I found was a Guardian piece that was basically a fact check of Karoline Leavitt and what she lied about the BBC yesterday, which I had already kind of checked. We must do Elon Musk wellness check today. Well, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Oh, I don't even have it loaded here? No way. Here we go. Well, guess what? You got it. Ann is right. It's Manhattan. It's Manhattan, Ann. Ann is right. And you are right. It is a time for, at all times, Elon Musk wellness check. Why are we doing that today, of all days? Every single day, Elon Musk is addled. But what's your reasoning for wanting to do it right now? Chicken butt. Yeah, chicken butt. Did I say that? I don't even know what I say half the time. So, Ann, you are the big winner. You get a kiss from me. I love you. Okay, and I hope that wasn't creepy. Now, here we go. No. Let's see. Guardian, Leavitt, BBC. And I like to pronounce her name Karoline Leavitt, like she's a dog. And that's not trying to be mean about anything other than that it's like she's always spreading lies, and so you want to be like, leave it. Okay, I guess I have to go straight to the Guardian because DuckDuckGo is truly a horrible... It stinks. DuckDuckGo stinks. But so here we go, everybody. I know you're here for this hot Karoline Leavitt action, and you're going to get it, okay? All right, this looks... They haven't updated their page yet. This looks like what I saw. Elon Musk calls Trump's a disgusting abomination. And now... Gosh, by golly, man. I mean, the internet kind of stinks these days. In so many ways, huh? I really said a mouthful there. Let's see. All right, now I have to, like, literally just find... Okay. Everyone, just bear with me. I'm so sorry. This is not how you... I got all these new people on the Substack. It's so exciting. Okay, Karoline Leavitt. Can you tell that me and my fiance have been watching the women's softball? We've been watching the women's softball. And then she was like, you're attracted to Sam Landry. And I was like, no, she's just got funny glasses. So Karoline Leavitt, BBC, fact check, Guardian. I mean, this is too much for it to... Okay, here we go. Thank God. So everybody's here for this hot Karoline Leavitt news. So, Madison, what I think he's up to... Okay, so we've been asked in the chat. The left is right now. Hey, we need you in here. The left is right now. Do you want to call into the program? We want to understand you. If you are a MAGA American, we want to talk to you. Most of us here are non-MAGA when we are on TikTok. There are a bunch of MAGA folks who come, but we want to talk to you about your information ecosystem and your media diet. So the number is on the screen, and call into the program. But so yesterday, you may have seen video. Are they going to provide me some video here and I don't have to go to my TikTok? Let's see.
Hey, if you want to get rid of this beer belly in time for summer, check this out. Have you seen this guy?
The administration is aware of those reports, and we are currently looking into the veracity of them because, unfortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with total truth. We like to look into it when they speak, unlike the BBC, who had multiple headlines. They wrote, Israeli tank kills 26, Israeli tank kills 21, Israeli gunfire kills 31, Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident, and then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So,
oh, I didn't even know that. Hold on, watch.
Viewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything. Oh, okay. So we're going to...
Actually a paid propagandist, and she's paid to lie. And right there, she just lied. Just blatant lie. Just blatant lie, like purposeful not misinterpretation, strategic weaponization of conflation. Okay, I need to write that down. Strategic conflation weaponization. All right, unbelievable. Are you kidding my daddy? Look at this. Okay, I'm going to show it one more time. Okay, especially pay attention to the part at the
story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything. Oh.
We reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything. I am frozen for real, Madison. That seems like a problem on your end, Madison. But if I'm frozen for other people, let me know. So she said they had to take down their story and they couldn't find evidence for anything. Well, guess what? She's conflating. Good morning, Jason. She's conflating a BBC Verify fact check about a different topic. And she's just saying the conclusion of that BBC Verify fact check and lumping it in with their ongoing reporting the previous day about these casualties in this incident in Gaza and Palestine. Okay? So let me just go down and show you all this. So first of all, the BBC defended itself loudly. Madison, am I still frozen? Jason, am I frozen? And said, our news stories and headlines about Sunday's aid distribution center incident were updated throughout the day with the latest fatality figures as they came in from various sources. Okay, well, I just saw that right now, Madison, and you can see on the screen, I guess. This is totally normal practice on any fast-moving story, and it is. And the BBC did not take down those stories. It just updated them throughout the day, as is a normal practice. People are all familiar with how the news works. You go to a website, it says, updated 1 p.m. today, or whatever. You know what I mean? So then it said the White House had conflated that incident. Okay, this incident where there were these casualties and they were being reported by various different organizations with a completely separate report by BBC Verify to the corporation's fact-checking team, which found a viral video posted on social media was not linked to the aid distribution center it claimed to show. They said this video did not run on BBC news channels and had not informed our reporting. Conflating these two stories is simply misleading. Really, what they are doing is being semi-polite. Conflating these two stories is a bold-faced lie. Does anyone have examples of other lies that Karoline Leavitt has told? I mean, we can go find them, but I just want to know if there's any whoppers off the tops of your heads. Right? Let's just watch this one more time. Let's just watch her lie real time. This is someone who is paid to represent our administration of our government to us, the American people. We pay her salary, and she's lying to us. And this isn't just like your typical, like what any press secretary in any administration would like maybe lie if it's like, are there WMDs in Iraq? I mean, that's a pretty big lie. But what I mean to say is that they're lying every single day about every single thing. And now Madison is saying she lied to somebody about gun control.
Gunfire kills 31. 6. They wrote, Israeli tank kills 26. Israeli tank kills 21. Israeli gunfire kills 31. Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident. And then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything. Oh, okay. So we're going to look into reports before we confirm them from this podium or before we take action. And any evidence of anything. Oh, okay. Any evidence of anything. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
This next thing she says is really
so
rich.
We're going to look into reports before we confirm them from this podium or before we take action. And I suggest...
She didn't look into anything before she said something from her podium. So I got so many things to do, but I kind of want to turn this one into a video. And I guess I would start with her going, oh, okay. Or I would start with this.
Before we confirm them from this podium. Okay, so we're going to look into reports before we confirm them from this podium or before...
And I go, no, you're not. And then I go, Karoline, leave it. Oh, God. So she's just an unrepentant liar. Now, let me update y'all on what's going on with the Daily Dose. Now, there's a couple things going on with the Daily Dose. So yesterday, I did not have my Adderall, and I was rendered totally useless as a human being, which is pathetic and makes me sad, but that's just reality. So, look, I'm an entertainer. I'm not a psychopath CEO. But so... Yesterday, I started just a daily dose that was Trump is unfit. And I was going to basically have reporting on Trump before 2016, reporting on Trump at the end of his first administration. Then I guess I could throw in COVID lies. and the reality that Trump caused like unnecessary death on a mass scale. And then I was going to throw in the thing where he says that Biden is a robot. And then I was just going to wrap that up. Oh, and the rape. And then I was going to say this guy's unfit, and that was going to be the Daily Dose. But now we've got so many Daily Dose topics. We've got Daily Dose topics like Karoline Leavitt. The toxic propaganda version is that she is a press secretary. And the healthy context frame is that she's a liar. Right? Now, I do want to mimic a little bit of the TikTok program, and I do want to show y'all a little bit of the disinformation. Look at this. So yesterday on TikTok, we had this guy, Jason, you'll never believe this, but you will. But so we keep getting, like, I like to keep these up, like these fact checks that we end up doing, like we had this guy yesterday on TikTok who just, like, the things they believe, he said that he has seen that Hillary Clinton wanted to make re-education camps, right? Like all of these things. He said, he talked about that that FEMA was like not sending relief funds to Americans and was instead sending that money for relief funds to house illegal immigrants in luxury hotels, right? And it's just like all the disinformation. They're just repeating all this disinformation. And I tried to gently tell this gentleman, look, it sounds like you're stewing in disinformation. That's okay, Madison. Rev Deuce has been breaking the don't be a dick rule a lot recently. But so it's just wild how much disinformation our friends or MAGA loved ones are stewing in. And this man had clearly just sat himself in front of a million memes and took them all as the gospel, as well as the gospel at the same time that he was taking in being, oh, I do not believe anything that mainstream media says, right? Like, do not believe the evidence of your eyes and ears because mainstream media is doing the propaganda to you that actually you're mainlining every single second of every single day. Like, when they bark, when they hear another voice, they bark. Sorry, it seems like y'all lost me for a second. Oh, and then I'm down to 0 viewers. What's going on? Is everyone here? Can you hear me? Okay, so we got hearts and stuff like that. So we were disconnected for a second. That's dumb. But so let's quickly go through the news. But I think I've got a bunch of stored up ones. And then our friend yesterday also asked us about privatizing the VA. And so we could also do a daily dose about privatizing the VA. And so I think what I'll do probably today so I can make some videos is I will just go through with the Trump unfit one, which like seems like it's like so far gone and so past like anybody needing to see it. But like I think I think people would appreciate having a repository of just some information about why Trump is just so unfit. And I just want to put that in a nice little neat package for everybody. I don't know. Does anyone talk to their MAGA friends and loved ones anymore? Gosh, by golly. But so I wanted to show you all this piece of disinformation because of the guy that I was talking about yesterday. Because everyone will just believe anything in front of them. What'd you say? Not much. What did I say? Okay, look at this. This is disinformation. Now, is it true that Harvard was allowed to ban speakers and fire professors just for being conservative for decades? I don't really know. I don't really care. I doubt that. I mean, that's just such a wild statement. I mean, any private entity can fire based on the laws. Like, do you have like an at-will? Oh, I see, Madison. Do you have like at-will firing, or like what are the rules in your state? Like, I'm sure Harvard would abide by those rules. There's also tenure. But so look at this. I want everyone to look at this. Are you looking at this, right? This is an attractive woman. She has nice hair. But the thing is, look at the plant that's seemingly on the couch next to her. Where did it go? Below her. And then what's going on with it above her? Why is it on the couch? Okay. Oh, wait. And it's God bless Trump. And it's saying something that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you think about it, it doesn't make sense. But it is just a statement that our MAGA friends and loved ones at this point will just be like, okay. Yeah, Jason, I hear you. So I don't know. Would that be helpful? No, she's not real. And I'll show you why. Because, first of all, she looks a little bit different in all of these. She looks different there. She looks different there. But I'll show you some other ways, and it'll get better, and we'll be totally screwed, right? But where is this? This one. Look at her hair, okay? Look at her hair. It disappears in a weird way. And over by her right hand, that also does a weird thing where it doesn't. Okay. And this is just liberals cringe, hashtag workplace problems, hashtag born in the wrong decade, hashtag Trump. Right. And when we click on the bio, even though it says Brianna, it says Eric's mom plus Patriot, whatever, U.S., South Korea, I guess the algo does not like me. Okay. So. And then it says, if Trump is a dictator, why is it okay for all my coworkers to openly call for the president to get unalived, but I have to be scared to even mention I'm conservative in front of them? All my coworkers to call for the president? So you work in a place, where does she work? At an auto mechanic shop or at a car dealership? Like, your place of work is a place where all of your coworkers are saying that Donald Trump should be smashminated? You know what I mean? I guess we've blocked someone in the past and they still come into the space. I don't know. It says user hidden, message hidden from blocked user. But so this is disinformation, right? Now let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see what's going on with this image here. Excuse me. Well, because no one is talking about that. It's just a lie. Because this is a fake thing. Now, why would they just not serve up the box of whatever it is that you wanted to see? Results for people are limited, but is this a real person? I don't really understand how this shit works, but apparently it's saying it has no matches. Well, maybe that's because this isn't a real person. Okay, now look at this one. Gas prices just dropped to their lowest in 4 years. Okay. That's also, first of all, that's also not true. Here's another one. She looks a little bit different. Oh, no, we saw that one already. Here's another one. Her legs are much skinnier. Breaking news, Trump just lied again, ... He said, I get tired of winning, but I'm not. That is dumb. What is on the ground? And then, like, who are the people in the comments? Let's go Trump, MAGA Michigan. I know, right? Winning is getting so old. Our great president. I don't think any of us are tired. Trump Day USA. Like, are these real people? Like, I doubt it. I mean, I keep running into situations where people I don't think are real. That's how cooked we all are. Always the weird, slow angle change. Yeah. Well, that's a trick that lots of influencers do or whatever. Was that Ronan? Okay, so I just wanted to show you all that briefly. Just kind of wild what's going on. I keep seeing this Mayday USA stuff. My algorithm is now pushing me Mayday stuff. I wanted to show you all this. So what's happening is that, like, Keystone, which is part of, there's two Keystones. There's one that's Pink Slime, and there's one that is, what's the word? Courier Newsroom. And Courier Newsroom is associated with the Democratic Party, but it is fact-based. So I, like, vacillate between, you know, whether to share it or not. But, like, they're using the same tactics. I think that's why I saved this. Right, like, this is fact-based, and they're using the same tactics as, like, Fox's posts. I wanted to show you all this. So this is a Ukrainian soldier recording himself. Or Zelensky don't care for no one but his money. Go home, soldier. Zelensky doesn't worth to die for him. That sounds real. Charlie B. Farley, the most terrifying. Sutherland. Okay. People wonder why soldiers have. Okay. Zelensky ruined Ukraine. Meanwhile, dictator Zelensky living like a king. Right? So, like, we're just totally cooked, and, like, are these accounts real or not? And if they're not, it doesn't matter. It's a reflection of our information ecosystem, which is, like, terrifying. And sorry, I'll get that off the... That's an annoying noise. So, can I explain what pink slime is? David, pink slime is when... It's such a dumb name, but so you know how, like, there was that fast food stuff in, like, the 2000 aughts or something where we realized that, like, chicken McNuggets were just like giant pink slime. And I mean, I think they're referring to burgers, but anyway, pink slime is like something that, like, is the product you're getting served that you think you're getting, like journalism, but in fact it's actually just pink slime. It's actually just highly processed and not what is being told to you that it is. So if we remember that dumb name, so then we understand that pink slime is like when something looks like a news outlet, when something looks like it's made to look like legitimate local news, but instead it is just you know, instead it is just a political operation that is trying to manipulate you. So I have a little thing about pink slime here, and I've probably written about it for the Media and Democracy Project. But so here we go. On my piece from October, corporate media is doing a bad job. Here's how to find alternatives. In the before times, I write, David, and I tell you about just like some five solid places there. I start, right, beware pink slime. There are thousands of pink slime news sites spreading disinformation and propaganda. Pink slime sites mimic local news providers but are highly partisan and tend to bury their deep ties to dark money, lobbying groups, and special interests. Here are some questions to ask when evaluating news sites for journalistic integrity. Is there a byline? If there's no staff reporter associated with the content, you could be reading generic AI-generated content produced by scraping publicly available data, mixed with propaganda designed to manipulate opinion. Then, what does their about section say, right? Especially if they overly emphasize how much they can be trusted. So pink slime, I used to compare the two. I used to compare the Keystone Courier with Keystone Newsroom, which is the Courier Newsroom one. Which is even crazier that they call this the Keystone Courier when it's pink slime. Because Courier News has another newsroom called Keystone Newsroom. So that's very confusing. Do they make it easy to see who funds them? And do they make corrections to stories? So there's something called Metric Media that is produced by a man named Brian Timpone. And Metric Media is just over 1,000 pink slime sites that boost Donald Trump and boost the Republican Party. And so that's what pink slime is. Now, let's just jump into the news real quick with your old pal Deuce. I am starting to sweat because it is getting warmer in New York City. And now I'm screwed. Kilala Kitty says, I was once arrested for public enlightenment. Now, Kilala Kitty, what the hell are you talking about? So I didn't think I'd have a lot of stuff, and then I was on Substack yesterday, and I found a million things for us to talk about. So here's Holly saying, let's see the Trump chart. You don't think it's a bit anomalous that Trump has so many more nationwide injunctions against him? Let's go to the videotape, as Warner Wolf was wont to say.
Non-parties, which was the principle of when an injunction biting non-parties, which was never done in this country before the 1960s. And let's see the chart, the Trump chart, which was done really only once Trump came into office for the first time. Now, you don't think this is a little bit anomalous? You don't think that's a little bit strange?
A very plausible explanation, Senator, you have to consider is that he is engaged in much more lawless activity than other presidents, right?
You don't think
you must
this
that as a
was never
possibility.
used before the 1960s, and suddenly Democrat judges decide we love the nationwide injunction, and then when Biden comes to office, no, actually.
It's Republican appointees as well, Senator, and the 1960s is where some scholars...
Look at this facts bay. Okay, check out this facts bay. You know, I don't like to comment about people and their appearance, but I mean, look, we got this professor, Kate Shaw. I mean, what is she like? Is this a movie? And she's just a Hollywood actress, and she's, you know what I mean? Because she's an attractive person. Okay, boom, roasted. The doing more lawless shit. I know, David, isn't that this is something we can all use as a rhetorical device against all of our friends and loved ones and neighbors who are in the MAGA camp who say stuff like this. Like, it's obviously so the daily dose for today, which is what I will do. This is something. Let me bring you behind the scenes. I'll show you the draft here. Trump historically unfit. Look, this is their frame, right? The toxic propaganda is criticism of Trump proves that he's being unfairly targeted and his achievements are purposefully underreported by left-wing media, right? That's the toxic propaganda that our MAGA friends and loved ones are stewing in, right? But the healthy context is that Donald Trump is a corrupt rapist who is historically unfit to be president, and if anything, mainstream media give him a pass. So that's what we're doing over here, okay? And you're going to spread that far and wide once I print that later. These are some articles that I need to pull back into the thing. That's not words. My brain is dying. But so here's the memorandum opinion denying Trump's attempt to, dismiss the case, right? And in that, the judge says, as is shown in the following notes, the definition of rape in the New York penal law is far narrower than the meaning of rape in common parlance, its definition in some dictionaries, right? Mr. Trump, in fact, did exactly that. Okay, and I put a trigger warning, just so people understand. But the guy's historically unfit, and we go about our lives as if he's somehow normal because he's been normalized for a very long time, right? And so that's what I'm working on. But David, that's what it is, right? That's what it is. It's that criticism of Trump proves that he's being unfairly targeted. That's ridiculous. That's what Josh Hawley is doing right here. He is howling at the moon. And let's just watch that one more time because it's awesome.
Only once Trump came into office for the first time. Now, you don't think this is a little bit anomalous? You don't think that's a little bit strange?
A very plausible explanation, Senator, you have to consider is that he is engaged in much more lawless activity than other presidents, right?
You don't think
you must
this
that
was
as a
never used before the 1960s, and suddenly Democrat
now,
judges
are all these little boys in Holly's office? Like, this kid's like, this is a good point. Look at this right here. He's like, well, pretty good point. And then he rolls his eyes.
Suddenly, Democrat judges decide we love the nationwide injunction. And then when Biden comes to office...
...than other presidents, right?
You don't think
you must
this
that as
was
a
never
possibility.
used
rolls
before
his
the
eyes. And then I feel bad
1960s.
for these... This kid back here is getting some bad advice on glasses. And are these kids Hollies? Because they look like they're 18 years old. Anyway, so that's what's going on with Josh Hawley. Okay. Let's keep going. Now we got Murray, and she's asking Linda McMahon if she did any analysis before she destroyed
Conduct any analysis to assess whether or not it would degrade support and services for students in our schools, or how the department would still be able to execute the law after losing so many employees?
Certainly. Excuse me. Good morning. Thank you for that. Yes, we did talk to the department itself.
But did you do an actual analysis?
OCR. What we looked at across was how can we restructure the department so that we can maximize the use of the people who are there. So what we did was in like training manuals and things of that nature to look at it and say, okay, we can better operate if we focus on
So this was a conversation. You didn't do an actual analysis to determine what the effects of this would be?
No.
So no study was done. They were just fired, and you assumed that it would work?
No, obviously not. I have been in the private sector and done restructuring before in companies, and it's painful to do restructuring.
It is painful, but normally companies look ahead and say, what are our goals and what will be the impact if these employees are gone from this department? That's why I asked, but you've not done an analysis.
Well, the goal is to destroy the Department of Education. So, like, if she just said that, I guess the game would be given away. But we all know that that's the goal. But so, of course, she didn't do a review because she doesn't care. Okay, thank you, Killalligan, for letting me know that it's a long story. So now look at this. Is everyone hip to what happened in Minnesota last night? So let's give it up for these heroes of democracy. Now, the reality is I don't know everything about this story. And so what's going on is that apparently ICE was saying that this was unrelated to like an immigration enforcement, or not ICE was saying that, but the county sheriffs, the FBI, it appears the FBI is heavily armed. And here, this says FBI. That's weird. But so let me look up where this restaurant is. Let me just get started. So, South Minneapolis restaurant. This is on Lake Street. Okay, so I know Minneapolis pretty well, so I'm going to look it up. What did it say? Las Cuatros. What did it say now? Las Cuatro Milpas. Las Cuatro Milpas. Oh. Minneapolis. Maps. Okay, there's the target there. Okay. And then here's the train. So this is where all the George Floyd stuff went down, right over here, right? Does everyone see this? So this is where all the George Floyd stuff went down. There's an excellent barbecue spot in this Midtown Global Market. Excellent. And so this was just like on the main street here. This is just like a main street. It's not like some major city where there's sky rises or anything. But so it's a thoroughfare that goes east to west across the city. And, what's fascinating to me is that like there's so many people like mobilized and were there just so fast. It's like, yeah, this is all residential right down here. This gets more like industrial over here, or this is definitely industrial, but I don't know exactly. This is like more like, you know, what do you want to call it? Like commercial. But so I just want to understand what's going on here. So like, let's just look up an article. Like, so what happened at... Does anybody know in the comments? Do you guys know what happened? Yeah, so the CBS mayor said it's not an immigration enforcement. So, sorry, the CBS mayor. So protesters clashed with federal law enforcement at a raid. So now it's just so wild in the streets that like people don't even know what's going on, and they see a big enforcement, and they just instantly got violent, and people are trying to stop them. I don't think they realized the community would respond so quick and kind of create a human barrier. The crowd grew within minutes. The crowd moved whatever they could in the path of the officers and deputies as they escorted federal agents down Lake Street, some through garbage cans and even through tires. Protesters thought it was some sort of immigration raid, but the mayor said that it wasn't the case. He said this incident was related to a criminal search warrant for drugs and money laundering. Minneapolis police and the sheriff's office also released statements echoing the same explanation. This incident was not related to any immigration enforcement. HCSO has no involvement in civil immigration. HCSO enforces criminal statutes and works on criminal investigations. So the thing is like, it is so wild here in this time. Wait, Jason, you're saying you don't believe that it is not related? That's interesting. The immigration rights folks are saying some pretty aggressive stuff when interviewed by the news. They're saying a lot of people's doors are locked, businesses are locking up because they're afraid. What are they looking for? Why are they here? They don't know. Jason says, I'm having trouble believing anything. Well, Jason, that's why we're here. That's why we're here, Jason. But it is getting increasingly post-truth out there in our world, and let's keep going through the news. So do you need a helpful video about Republicans lying about Medicaid work requirements? Well, I've got it for you right here.
Lies about Medicaid work requirements. Here are the facts. 64% of adults on Medicaid already work. 64%. Many recipients work in jobs that don't typically offer health insurance and pay little, which makes Medicaid vital. These people aren't freeloaders mooching off the system, as Republicans claim.
So up here in the corner, it says Civic Action, right? It says Inequality Media, which is Robert Reich's media company, where he just tries to do what I do, basically. And it says Civic Action. So you guys need to take some civic action and share this video. You can find it on my notes on Substack. You can go to Inequality Media, and you can make that happen. Okay.
Scraping by. And those.
So you should watch that whole video, and you should send it to people, because you should be a fact warrior, because we have fascism, because we haven't been fighting in the information war. So a Southwest flight was reportedly diverted from Houston to Nashville under the excuse of needing to refuel, but passengers soon learned it was actually for an ICE raid. So this sounds insane to me, and it feels like the kind of thing where you see a piece of video and then someone attaches something else to it. So this says, a liberal lady here to talk about politics and policies. So, okay, interesting. But let's, like, look this one up. So Houston to Nashville. Okay. So this says flight diverted to Nashville for security matter. The flight was on its way to Dallas. Okay, that's another Texas city when it made an emergency landing. Southwest flight on its way to Dallas was redirected. A possible security matter. They did look in someone's luggage. It is unknown what the possible security matter could have been. Efforts to obtain information from appropriate law enforcement agencies continue. So this is a local station to Nashville. I assume it's to Nashville, yes. Okay. So the news says Dallas. Okay, so this is disinformation. I'm going to label this disinformation. So again, everybody, it comes from all sides. We are all being, like, our brains are cooked by foreign attempts to manipulate us and by domestic attempts to manipulate us. And then what's happening is I need to come up with a term for these kinds of people. What's a term? I mean, is it zombie? Is it like zombie social media users, zombie posts? Where you just, like, it's regular Americans who now have exposed themselves to so much disinformation or are seeking clout by spreading anything that's salacious that they, like, don't care, and they don't care about their information integrity. So what could a term be, like, for that? Just like a regular person who's turned into an agent of disinformation by absorbing so much disinformation. I know that when we call that misinformation, when someone just, like, spreads something that they heard and they're not trying to be purposefully misleading. But so this woman is saying a Southwest flight was reportedly diverted from Houston to Nashville under the excuse of needing to refuel, but passengers soon learned it was actually for an ICE raid. Mid-flight, heavily armed officers searched a passenger's bag in front of everyone and removed them from the aircraft. According to former airline employees, this kind of flight in rate. Okay, so I'm like upset with this woman here. Muck peddlers, right? So then this woman says, I can't say with 100% certainty because I wasn't on the flight. I followed the repost all the way to the original poster via 2 platform searches, and that was their video footage they posted while on the plane. I'll say this, I've never seen a video of men in tactical military gear enter a plane to look through a bag in my life, and someone was removed from the flight. I can only go off what passengers perceive the situation. No, absolutely not. No, you cannot only go off of that. I'm going to angrily reply to this woman. Hi. Information nutritionist here. It's not the case that you can only go off what the passengers perceived. And in this information environment, it is demoralizing that you would invent a bunch of aspects of this story. And in this information environment, it is demoralizing that you would invent a bunch of aspects, apparently, I'll say apparently, of this story to further perpetuate a society where we find it difficult to know what sources to trust for fact-based information. You can look up news stories reporting the incident, as well as consult fact-checking websites like factcheck.org. There is nothing in major reporting to suggest this was ICE related at all, similar to the Minneapolis incident from yesterday. Stop. If you are fear-mongering to gain clout, please stop. If you just didn't do enough to practice information hygiene with love and respect, please try to do a better job in the future. We'd love to see you in a live stream sometime. Be well. Was that stern? Was that too stern? What do we think? And then I should share this article with her. Where'd that article go? You know what? Let me do this. Can you explain to me any of the social media posts I've seen saying a flight was diverted on its way to Dallas or Houston from Nashville and boarded by ICE agents? And then I gotta go. But just stand up for information and stand up for integrity every single day. I hear you, Kilala Kitty. It's been 30 minutes. I've been on here since... Yeah. All right, maybe I'll reword it. Okay, hi. It's not the case that you can end it in this environment is demoralizing that you would. But I can't. I mean, you know, I think that's because my fiance is working from home is why there's problems with the stream. Invent a bunch of aspects of this story to further perpetuate us. Okay. And in this information environment is demoralizing that you would apparently invent a bunch of aspects of this story. I'll leave it there. You can look up news stories reporting the incident as well as consult fact-checking websites like factcheck.org. There is nothing in major reporting to suggest this was ICE-related at all, similar to the Minneapolis incident from yesterday. If you are fear-mongering to gain clout, please stop. If you just didn't do enough... I'll get that. I'll take that part out. If you just didn't do enough to practice information hygiene with love and respect, please try to do a better job in the future. We'd love to see you in a live stream sometime. Be well. Here's the local news report. Boom. Okay, everybody. So we've got so many more of these things to get to. Thank you for the gentle note. Let me just fly through a couple things. RFK Jr. says, I'm wrong about Trump being on the side of the oligarchs. Rubbish. Okay, so again, this is just, I'm collecting lies, and I might do like a quick cut of lies, right? It might take me a little while, but just like, these guys lie all the time, unrepentantly, about anything. Look at this.
Is this a joke? You know, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on the side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than President Donald Trump.
Rubbish. There's never been a president less willing to stand up to the oligarchs than Donald Trump. The richest men on the planet lined up at Donald Trump.
He did a car deal for an oligarch. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just, the lies are insane. Let me just fly through these, everybody. Again, this is more of what happened in Minneapolis. And so, I mean, it's crazy because this wasn't a...
How you feel?
Man,
man, these motherfuckers, that's how I feel. They came back, they did this shit 5 years ago up in this neighborhood. Now they're back.
So, the conditions have been created by our federal government where Americans are taking to the street and going nuts because they think that this is a federal immigration enforcement issue right here. And so the conditions have been created for chaos. And so maybe there was, drug dealing and money laundering going on. I mean, I'm not one to immediately believe police, but, and especially now that our FBI is like the deep state, it's worrisome what to believe. It's hard to believe. But just look at what's happening in the streets, and this isn't even a immigration thing. It's pretty crazy. Now I wanted to show you this. This is what some of our Congress people believe.
Climate change is a sham. First of all, God controls the climate because he controls the sun, and the sun controls the weather primarily.
These Green New Deal policies that really go against God's design for nature and how he created this world that we live in. Can you talk a little bit about your position?
So God's design for nature. So if God this logic is it's just tortured. So if God created human beings then, and human beings want to do something about it, then didn't God create that? And then didn't God create them? And then so why did God create this battle between two sides? And let's keep asking questions, folks, okay?
There and the work you're doing in DC in that front?
Sure, I've been very outspoken about this.
But also God created science, and so then God created the 99.9% of climate scientists to agree that climate change is real, and God created fossil fuels, but then also God created renewable energy, and so it just could go on and on and on forever. And so these are not the types of people who should be in our government, people who are basing the decisions they make for the lives of billions of people and our progeny and our posterity based on their personal relationship to Yahweh. Now, this is upsetting.
But after stepping down, he has some harsh words for those January 6 pardons. And now he's talking about a tumultuous last 4 months for all those who handled the cases.
So this is January 6th.
President Trump's clemency for all 1,500 plus Capitol riot defendants, including some who assaulted police officers, still rattles the people who prosecuted the cases.
I was shocked, if not stunned, by the breadth of the pardons.
What kind of message do you think they send?
I think the message that they send is that political violence towards a political goal is acceptable in a modern democratic society.
Greg Rosen, former chief of the Department of Justice's Capitol Siege Division, resigned from the agency
It's kind of weak by Greg Rosen there, weak messaging, but we'll move on.
This weekend, and he's now free to speak about how pardons gutted the people who investigated and sought justice.
The primary beneficiaries of those pardons were not the trespass defendants who have talked about, quote, walking through the Capitol.
Not the grandma.
Not the grandma, though I didn't see many of those instances. It were the individuals that judges across the spectrum, appointed by both political parties, had determined were a danger to society. Individuals who were serving real, serious jail time.
After the pardons came a purge. FBI agents were scrutinized. And prosecutors who helped secure a 100% conviction rate among Capitol riot defendants were demoted or dismissed.
What did you make when there were so many people fired by the then acting U.S. attorney? Came in and accused the office of being weaponized and political.
I think it's ridiculous to see those talented prosecutors be marginalized or removed from office is an affront to the independence of the department.
The Department of Justice has not responded to our request for comment about this, but they have compiled a list of the 5,000 plus FBI employees who were part of the January 6th investigation. That list is for a review of the agents and their performance. Agents have fought to keep that list from being released, and Gail, so far, it has not been. And Greg Rosen was a long time.
I mean, it's wild what's going on behind the scenes, right? Like, what level of mutiny is like occurring. Now, I wanted to look into this, and then I do have to go, guys. Come on, stop keeping me here. But I wanted to look into this because, you know, we know that our Republican disinformers in our post-truth society that has been created by disinformers like these people, like Senator Johnson. So we know that, like, they'll bring people who are, you know, liars, right? We were just talking about fossil fuels. They'll find, like, the two dudes who, like, are going to argue based on, you know, payments they've received that there's not climate change happening. And, you know, that they'll put that person up in front of Congress and get their testimony in the record. So this guy is out here saying that 73% of people they found, who even knows what this number is, but we're going to look into this guy.
Now, listed on VAERS. What do you think the real number is? And do you have any science to back up your opinion?
The best data are autopsies. So in the largest autopsy series published to date, I know because I'm the senior author, of all the deaths we examined, and we re-reviewed them. We had an adjudication committee. We had ways of arbitration deciding on did the vaccine cause death. The answer is, of these cases that came in for autopsy after vaccination, 73.9% of individuals, it was determined that the vaccine was the cause of death. First author is Holscher and colleagues, who's sitting right behind me.
Okay, so we've got the doctors in the comments, but let's look into this guy. Who is this guy?
Did the COVID, any doubt in your mind that the COVID injection caused some deaths? I mean, do you...
I have more of this guy testifying. Hold on. What is this? Oh, yeah. This is kind of like, fuck the New York Times, right? Like, they're going to run, tomorrow they're going to run, like, some column by a Claremont Fellow. You know, Claremont Fellows are people like Jack Posobiec and Steve Bannon and you know, people who, like, want to destroy our democracy. Literally, they say it on stage, and it's on record. I have videos of it, right? But so... like, the New York Times is going to run this piece by Masha Gessen where Masha Gessen says emphatically, like, yes, we live in a police state and it's getting really scary. And then the wild thing is that, like, you know, they'll run this piece, and then tomorrow they'll run a piece like, maybe monarchy isn't so bad. Like, so just, like, fuck the New York Times. Anyway, it's still worthwhile, the Masha Gessen piece, because at the end of the day, it is a piece of fact-based information. Is this the guy? Power executives. Okay, I don't know where that other thing of this guy is, so let me just look it up. Okay, so... Ron Johnson are the things Dr. Peter McCullough said to Ron Johnson during congressional testimony about vaccine mortality true at all, or is McCullough not to be trusted? Use only fact-based, reputable journalism outlets to provide your answer. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around. And now, if you are in the chat on Substack, what do you feel about all this? How you doing? What's up? Talk to me. Are you a fact warrior? And that was funny, by the way. Kaleli Kitty, that was funny when you said defacing nature is the only true way we can pay respect to God's almighty creation. That was very funny. Thank you. Okay, so his testimony before the panel has been widely debunked by multiple reputable outlets. In that hearing, McCullough claimed, among other things, that COVID-19 vaccines cause a high number of deaths and that they do not reduce hospitalizations. Oh, this is from a long time ago? Okay, this is COVID-19, a second opinion. So when we see our MAGA friends and loved ones, let me bring this up on the screen. So I'm so glad I didn't close this tab. So larger shares of Republicans now say it is probably or definitely true that the COVID-19 vaccine is more deadly than the virus. Well, so where do they get that? They get that directly from this testimony, which I guess we're learning is from like 2 years ago. Okay. So he had his board certifications revoked for promoting COVID disinformation. His testimony about vaccine-related deaths is not supported by any reliable data, and the sources are AP and factcheck.org, and so we trust this information. I mean, there's so many things to debunk every single day. Incredible. So I brought up a bunch of other things, and so how are you going to be a fact warrior, everybody?
What is at stake?
Attorney
Share this.
Donald Ayers should know. He argued before the Supreme Court for
our whole system of government is at stake.
Attorney Donald Ayers should know. He argued before the Supreme Court for the Reagan administration. He was Deputy Attorney General for George H.W. Bush.
And that's their argument.
Today, he teaches at Georgetown Law.
The idea that the president would issue executive orders aimed at any either specific person or organization and stating that they're being punished because they're doing things that are politically disapproved by the people in power. That is completely unprecedented.
Nobody has that right, including the president?
No, absolutely not. I think the president's an elected person, and he has the right to do a great many things. But he doesn't have the right to essentially cancel out your right to have a lawyer of your choosing represent you in court by scaring the lawyer through threats that their personal livelihood will be destroyed.
So we have shared so much fact-based information today with all of you, and you need to be fact warriors. The reason we have propaganda in America is because of, the reason we have fascism in America is because of propaganda. Also, I mean, the reason we have propaganda in America is because of fascism. Let's not get it twisted. So the reality is that you may be looking out at the world and you may say, what do I do in this time? And maybe some of you already are doing things. Maybe you're writing letters to the editor. Maybe you are calling your congressional representatives. You know, maybe you're doing all manner of things, but guess what? You need to be a fact warrior every single second that you are online. You need to fight for reality because they are fighting for disreality. You need to fight for fact-based information and flood the zone with facts because they are flooding the zone with poo-poo caca. That is literally their strategy. So you may say, oh, we're helpless. No, we're not helpless. We are just not doing anything to help ourselves. And so I need you to spread fact-based information every single time that you are online. I need you to worship facts and spread the good word of facts throughout the world. In a time when it's hard to know where to turn, who to listen to tell us what's really going on in the world. We worship facts because fact worship is the only way to see the light. You're in an information war at all times. You're holding a piece of equipment that is designed to fit to your body ergonomically, so that you can look at it and stare at it and make mental love to it at all times. And guess what? On the other side of that phone is this dickhead. Okay? And he's flooding your zone with shit. Who are you, the Scots? Hello. He's flooding your zone with shit. So you need to be a fact warrior at all times. Because if you're not, what are you doing? You're giving up on humanity. You're giving up on yourself. You're giving up on your reality. Because your reality is being contended for at all times. Every single day, every single second. And the consequences of you not giving a shit and you not taking the bare minimum effort to do anything to fight in the information war is this. And it sounds gross, and it is gross. Hi, the Scotts. Will you follow me and love me and spread my information everywhere? Are you Jay Scott, who I went to high school with? Or perhaps you're Laura Scott, who I went to high school with? Is this Christy Jones? Or is it two guys named Scott? I love the idea of like two guys in a relationship who are named Scott and then they get married and then they're just called the Scotts. They literally change their last names to Scotts and then they're Scott Scott and Scott Scott. We're the Scotts. Hi, everybody. We're the Scotts. So anyway, welcome the Scotts. Please follow, share all of my videos, tell everybody about all the products I've created to help you understand the news in just 20 minutes a day. Right? This is research we were doing yesterday in our other thing, but go to Blue Sky, okay? Go to Blue Sky, click on our profile. On our profile, you'll see lists. Oh, oops, oopsie poopsie doopsie loopsie. Go to Blue Sky. On our profile, you'll see lists. David, I'm doing the 90-minute goodbye. But you'll find the news. You can click on that. You can get all the news you need to understand our world, all the context. This seems like a gruesome death video. This is from Drop Site. Was killed Monday morning by Israeli forces when they opened fire on civilians gathering for food. Terrible. So, but you can get all the news you need, even about video games. New term, new judges. Trump 2.0 is likely going for court picks loyal to him. Well, duh. Condoleezza Rice, what a loser. Okay, so everybody just get in here and share the products that I've created. Go to our YouTube, okay? I need you to also go to our YouTube and look at these videos, okay? These videos are incredible. I literally use them sometimes to go toe-to-toe with our MAGA friends and loved ones, and they enjoy it, honestly. They enjoy it. I showed this one. Liberal media bias is a lie.
There's no such thing as liberal media bias.
Right? To a MAGA person. And, you know, he said that was actually a pretty great video. Okay? So look at these videos. They are criminally underplayed. So how can you send one of these videos, just any one of these top 4? And then we've got lots of shorts. Okay? You can check those out. But I need you to help me because I'm doing the work that needs to be done. Right, and I can make this program better. I just wake up every day. But if I'm making money off of this, and I'm like, you know, this is really my job, which it is. But so maybe I should already be putting in even more effort. But it's like I'm live streaming, I'm writing articles, I'm making videos, and I need to grow. And so if you believe in the mission here, if you understand that the way we get rid of fascism in America is by changing our information ecosystem because you don't have fascism without propaganda. Let's watch this video I made so that you can share it.
We are here to worship facts and reject the lies that are meant to divide us, and that division keeps us from joy. And so since we are the secular mega church of joy, we are all about pushing back against the hate and lies and manipulation and division that is being created for us by the global authoritarians and oligarchs who want to divide us. How does fascism come to America? It comes to America when we no longer care about information. Fascism is the result of propaganda.
We are waging a 21st century information warfare campaign against the left. It's like grassroots guerrilla warfare. Someone says something on social media, Musk retweets it. Rogan podcasts it.
These people will be moved to swing states, and that will be used to essentially rig those states and turn them blue forever.
Fox broadcasts it.
They want illegals to steal election shine.
And by the time it reaches everybody, millions of people have seen it.
Propaganda is effective in converting people from regular citizens in a pluralistic democracy into fascism worshipers, and so we must be fact worshipers at this time. The world is being destroyed by dickheads who are able to control the headlines and control the means of communication and tune the algorithms to have us at each other's throats at all times.
How come we're We're heading towards a recession now.
What?
In 2024, there was no talk of a recession. Now I hear it every week.
Egg and gas prices are the lowest they've been in 4 years.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's a lie. First of all, that's a lie.
Trump cannot run a
That's a fucking lie.
That's not a fucking lie. Go look it up. Go get it.
Prices low on
Can I say something?
So what are you going to do today? How are you going to fix the world today? How are you going to be a fact warrior? Okay. Go share that video, please. Thing is, I gotta change the end of this. God damn it. Because I don't stream from 9 to 11 every single day on these places. And I stream on TikTok, and I want people to see that. But so I need you to spread fact-based information every single time that you are online. I love you. You love me. How will you be a fact warrior throughout the day today? Every time you're online, if you're not spreading fact-based information, reposting it, retweeting it. It is literally about flooding the zone with facts. It's not about like, oh, I made a comment on this post and that changed the world. No. Literally, they are flooding the zone with poo-poo caca in order to establish fascism. So flood the zone with facts. So the brains of our MAGA friends and loved ones are getting cooked, okay? And with love and respect, if you are a MAGA friend and loved one, your brains are getting cooked. We need you to be back on the fact-based stream of information. And that does not mean that mainstream corporate commercialized system for informing the public is the be-all and end-all. But they are dealing in facts, and you are not. I see it every single day. I talk to you every single day, and you're spreading wild shit that liars are telling you. Elon Musk is telling you something about what FEMA is doing with billions of dollars, and you're believing him. Elon Musk is a known liar, anti-Semite, not free speech absolutist. He's a ketamine-addled, person who deeply needs therapy. Okay, so let's not get it twisted, all right? Deuce is ending a little pumped, a little excited. So the Scots, what are you going to do today to not only boost Rev Deuce, but to spread fact-based information every single time you're online? Because if you're not, log off. Read a book, write a book, go for a walk, be a walk, whatever that means. And I love you, you love me. We are an intergalactic family. This program is sponsored by Grass Milk Soar. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be a fact warrior. Go tell people about the good word of fact-based information and that journalism is the immune system of democracy.